Our problem is we think we have time. Time may be immutable, but it flies and every second wasted is gone and lost forever. We pay dearly for ignoring the value of time. Our time on this planet is both limited and finite. Time is the most valuable commodity we have, and unlike money, we cannot earn, save, or borrow time. Then why do we procrastinate? Before the why, let's discuss what is procrastination. It is when we have trouble persuading ourselves to do things we should do or would like to do, but instead of working on those important and meaningful tasks, we find ourselves engaging in mindless activities. And let's not confuse procrastination with laziness. Laziness is not wanting to do anything, whereas procrastination is wanting to do but unable to persuade yourself to do the task. It is one of the main barriers blocking us from productivity and living our desired dream life. While we waste our time hesitating and postponing, life is slipping away. We end up feeling regret and guilt for the missed time and opportunity. And with the digital distractions today, our willpower or focus is not at its best. While willpower is often the main cause of procrastination, it is mainly our built-in motivation that helps us overcome the habit of putting things off on a daily basis. In our lives, we often experience certain demotivating factors such as anxiety or fear of failure, ADHD, abstract goals, feeling disoriented, lack of energy or motivation, or feeling overwhelmed, all of which have an opposite effect other than motivation. And when the demotivating and hindering factors outweigh our self-control and motivation, we end up procrastinating, either indefinitely or until the deadlines are hanging like a sword on our heads. Because our basic instinct, the monkey mind, takes it easy and does what it does best, monkeying around with all possible distractions and leaving everything for the last minute. Even during school and college days, I would do that for my assignments and during my exams. My mother's panic monster would get activated because mine had gone to visit the Wonderland and decided to be there. My mother would then dial in on my dad's panic monster, which he never had, but I was pushed to study and finally do well in my exams. And with just the last minute studying and selective reading, that too. Well, that's how the mind of a procrastinator works. In the middle of my YouTube video script writing, the monkey mind decides to go play blogging, and then on its way back to the script, stops at Instagram Reels for some silly scrolling. Comes back and takes a glance at the script that needs to be finished, by the way, but decides to check the phone for the notifications that have not come. Or waste time mindlessly on Facebook food videos or some Ellen interview on a kid who can play two pianos at the same time. Or perhaps get an impulse to binge watch the Kardashian and Jenner sisters doing their hair and makeup, which I have nothing to do with and no interest whatsoever. That's not all. It starts writing a completely new topic in the middle of the topic I'm already writing. I started writing this topic in the middle of writing employee ghosting. No connection here, you see. We're not done yet. The monkey then suddenly decides to say hello to the Twitter bird. Tweets, and then only after wasting some time away from the agenda does he decide to come back to work. Finally. And after all that, I'm hoping to somehow miraculously find myself finishing what I started. And before I know, my mind is in a mayhem of overdrive. Multiple tabs open, and steering these is quite the challenge for the little Macarena monkey. Oh, let me introduce you to the Macarena monkey mind. Now you're familiar with the thought pattern or the functioning of the mind of a procrastinator. I'm sure most of you relate to this as well. Everyone is a procrastinator. Some are more indulgent and some more vigilant of their tendencies to do so and avoid suffering. Now, after all that monkeying around and hey Macarena and lots of time wasted, The normally dormant panic monster decides that it's time to show up when the work and the to-do list has piled up and the deadline is hanging like a sword on our heads. Monkey mind has left the building. We can now complete what we started. Now, how do we fight procrastination? Procrastination is a habit, and like any other habit, it can be worked on and changed. It's a form of stress relief. The reason for stress could be anything which hangs over our heads like a stress ball. We can break this habit. The procrastination trigger is always stress, and avoiding it is stress relief. Stress won't go, but we can change the pattern of avoiding work. Acknowledge the stress and move on. Here are some helpful tips you could use. Number one, being disciplined, which is of utmost importance. You set timelines to start and finish. Break things into tiny tasks so it doesn't seem unachievable or Herculean. Open a task file in your head and then close the loop once done. If you start somewhere, anywhere, you have an open loop and you're more likely to finish it and close the loop. Be kind to yourself. Self-compassion helps. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself up for all that you could not do or didn't do. It has an opposite effect than motivation. But when you're kind to yourself and exhibit self-compassion, you're more likely to follow through and finish it. Incentivize yourself. Think about the rewards that come with completing this task. Things that motivate you, all the benefits that come with the things that you're putting off. Remember, reasons reap results. Here's a bonus point. Procrastinate procrastination. That shouldn't be difficult at all, right? What are you waiting for? Do those pending tasks that you've put on the back burner today. Yes, today.